with a legend hospitalized and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for August 22nd. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. After being rushed to the hospital and diagnosed with double pneumonia and sepsis, it seems pro wrestling legend Bobby Fulton is feeling better, as he said this to a fan asking how he was doing. "I'm feeling better. I'll be out of the hospital Tuesday, hopefully." With Bleacher Report, Edge touched on the changes to his character since making his return to WWE, as he said he doesn't mind it. "As I've said, since I've been back, I look at myself as a designated hitter, so you put me in where you need me. You need me to turn heel? Alright, we'll give it a shot. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll give it a shot. And then, okay, we've got some injuries, I need you to turn back face. Alright, cool, we'll give it a shot because I've been trying to be an a-hole for 2 months, so we'll see." On the SmackDown Lowdown, Sheamus, ahead of his match against Gunther for the IC title, vowed to become the first Ultimate Grand Slam champion. "It's the one title that I haven't won, right?" That's what you're gonna say, isn't it? Because it's no secret, right? I've been shouting it from the rooftops for the last couple of years. In my time here in WWE, the one title that has eluded me to this time is the Intercontinental Championship. I've done everything to put myself in its path, but every time I was shortchanged, every time I was passed by. I'm going to defeat you for the Intercontinental Championship, and not just to become a Grand Slam champion. No fella, you're going to have to be involved in history, in WWE history, when I become the first ever Ultimate Grand Slam champion. While they are currently signed to Impact Wrestling, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson are set to become free agents, with it reported that the Good Brothers' time with Impact Wrestling is reaching its possible conclusion. The Impact Tag Team Champions Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson's original deals were 2-year contracts set to expire in late July. However, contrary to previous reports, the two aren't exactly free agents as of yet. We reported in the past they'd committed to appearing through August, and we've been told that they actually agreed to extensions. We've learned some more specifics on their agreements. The Good Brothers will remain with Impact until through the August 26th and 7th tapings in Dallas, Texas. In addition to that, they'll be heading to New Japan Pro Wrestling for a couple weeks in September, but will be contractually free agents by then. We'd heard in the past they'd agree to do some work with New Japan Pro Wrestling through the 2023 Wrestle Kingdom shows. Fightful will have an update after next week's shows. Speaking about CM Punk calling out Hangman Page on Dynamite, Disco Inferno called out the AEW champion on Keeping It 100, saying he's basically calling a guy out. It's not booked that way. And the guy, Page, doesn't come out because this isn't booked. He can't come out. He totally buried the guy, right? That was his receipt to Adam Page cutting his promo on him. Basically, he just went out there and he buried Adam Page knowing that he couldn't do anything. Colt Cabana, a former member of the Dark Order, had been signed to AEW but would end up re-signed to Ring of Honor following Punk's arrival to the promotion. Punk and Cabana are not on good terms after having a dispute over paying legal fees years ago following their lawsuit with WWE. On his podcast, Jim Cornette talked about the reason behind the drama in AEW being Punk's issues with Colt Cabana. "It's over Colt Cabana? I can understand if CM Punk had come in and suddenly laid fire or diminished or sent to the side Bryan Danielson or even Jericho. He's got some name value or some major, even Jungle Boy, because they like him because he got cute hair. That would have been one thing, but a guy who was completely and utterly useless in every way to begin with, Cabana wasn't pushed. He wasn't even prodded, and he meant nothing to the show. The revenue, nothing." Talking about the segment between Punk and Moxley and Dynamite last week, Jim Cornette noted on his podcast how Moxley ruined this. It was honestly like you see an independent show where you have a star who has got his stuff together and is recognized, and people know who he is, and he's coming to work with the local indie guy, and they're trying to work with each other. One guy looks like a star that's together and composed and articulate, and the other guy, Moxley, looks like he's trying to do a promo for smart fans and talk himself into it, and Moxley did the spooky voice indie style stuff. Then they have the fight, and Jesus Christ, for a guy who literally likes to pummel people into jelly with his bare hands according to him, Moxley can't throw a punch to save his life. Can he? And conversely, when he gets hit with a punch, he doesn't move his head at all, so everybody else's punches look like garbage. Cornette would also talk about Hangman Page's promo on Punk from May, which is said to be the reason Punk took the recent shot at Page on Dynamite. When Page apparently went to business for himself with his inexplicable rambling that he wasn't talented enough to pull off, that was before the main event of a pay-per-view. That was one of the bigger houses and overall revenue producing nights in AEW history, and this jackoff is out there trying to make up his own stuff. Not only is Adam Page a lyrical wordsmith, he can barely read the cue cards. He didn't need to try to be jousting with CM Punk anyway. That's why Punk looked so confused, because they had to have a plan when they went out there. But when old Hangnail bows up and starts doing a bunch of stuff, how was Punk going to be unprofessional and say, "You just said a bunch of stuff that you're not supposed to say. I don't know what to say back to you because you're an idiot." Despite only recently being brought back and promoted, it seems Jeff Jarrett is no longer with WWE, as Brad Shepard said. A source in WWE told me that Jeff Jarrett was let go. Jarrett was recently hired into a VP role running WWE's live events. Speaking about his feud with Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston told Under the Ring that he does not like their matches. "Oh, I hated them all. I hated every single one of them. I don't like any of my work, plus I don't like Chris. Being in the ring with him was a headache. It was 7 months of a headache, but I'm proud that it's over for now. Knowing Chris, he'll probably do something to get me mad and we'll probably get back in there. Did I learn a lot? Yeah. I learned what it was to be a snake backstage like Chris. I learned to avoid people like Chris and his group, so I did learn from it, but it was 7 months of my life that I can't have back, so thanks a lot, Chris." With him suffering fractured vertebrae during a match on SmackDown earlier in the year, Big E has been out of action recovering, as he recently told Ryan Satin, "The issue right now is my C1 is not completely ossifying. It's not completely forming at the bone. It appears to be healing fibrously. It's good enough that they're not worried about me in my day-to-day life. They're cool with clearing me, like I don't need a brace anymore. But I'm not cleared to, be taking off and hitting suicide spears. They want to take a look at it again after a year. The upside is right now I have no nerve issues. There is no tingling, no weakness. I've been in the gym since 2 weeks after breaking my neck. They told me as long as your neck is in the brace, as long as you stay in the brace, you're good for that. So yeah, I've been working out, I feel great. I'm just really grateful. Honestly, it feels like a bullet whizzed by my face. I felt the wind of the bullet go by my head, and I'm very grateful to still be here, to have use of my limbs, to still feel good." That's really my biggest takeaway, is just gratitude. I try to be grateful that I'm still here. I'm still kicking. During a recent WWE live event, the undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns was making his entrance for a match when a father asked the star to meet his son, who was celebrating his birthday, as Roman broke character during this exchange. Here's the video.
"Birthday boy! He loves you, man! It's his birthday! No way! You're amazing! Holy shit! Holy shit! I'm gonna cry! Holy shit! Sorry about my language. I'm so sorry about my language.
In some unfortunate news, WWE legend Savio Vega was recently hospitalized, as IWA Puerto Rico said Saturday, Savio Vega had to be transferred to a hospital in an emergency. He is still under treatment. You need to rest to recover as soon as possible. He has his phone at hand to communicate only with his relatives. We request space. Thanks. In an update for our fans, Savio Vega is still in the hospital and undergoing a series of treatments. We wish him a speedy recovery. And of course, we wish Vega all the best during this time and hope he's able to make a full recovery. On Keeping It 100, Road Dogg made an appearance and was asked about Bray Wyatt's booking in WWE, where he blamed the former chairman and CEO. Truth be told, I think he'll be back. I think we'll see him a third time. It did get a little wacky. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I'll probably get some heat for saying this, but I just feel like sometimes Vince lets the writers do their thing. It kind of gets successful, and then he feels like he wants to play with it too. Then you just go like, okay, well, let's stay with this because we don't want to just say this sucks, we want to quit or whatever. So let's try to stay with this. Next thing you know, you're doing some of the crap he was doing later in Bray Wyatt's tenure. Speaking of Vince McMahon, Bully Ray noted on Busted Open Radio how the former WWE chairman would handle the situation with Hangman Page and CM Punk in AEW. This is up to Tony Khan now. He holds the pencil. It's up to him to get these people in a room and first and foremost, help to iron out every difference and set the record straight and go, guys, we're doing business here. Our business is in the best interest of anybody, not just one person. We can't get into business for ourselves. Mark Henry, you know what I'm talking about. If a similar situation like this goes down in WWE, you get sat down quickly. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.